All right, well, I would like to welcome everyone to our 2021 WARM Conference. This is our fourth and final session. My name is Erin Groneveld. I am the treasurer with the Women's Golf Alliance, which was founded in 2009 to support women as golfers and leaders in the industry through networking and educational opportunities. I am super excited for today's session, which is on the Women's Mentoring League, which was designed to grow the game one woman at a time. Caroline O'Brien is going to share that story with us. And Caroline is a certified association executive and director of women's golf with the Northern California Golf Association. She previously served 21 years as the executive director of the Pacific Women's Golf Association. Caroline is one of the founding members of the Women's Golf Alliance and is currently serving as a board member. Caroline loves the women's golf environment for the people, the camaraderie, and the passion of the volunteers. Caroline, you want to take it away?
I do, Erin. Thanks so much for the nice introduction. And welcome everybody to our fourth and final presentation for our WARM conference. Today, I would like to introduce you to Linda Reed. She's the Women's Golf Ambassador for the Morton Golf Group and the Haggin Oaks Golf Complex in Sacramento, California. Linda's going to share with us today the highly successful Mentor League program for women that she has developed with the staff at the Haggin Oaks Golf Complex. Linda is an avid golfer and was a writer for Golf Digest magazine who reviewed premier golf courses and rated them for women golfers across the country. She was also a member of the board of directors for the First Tee of the Greater Sacramento area and a longtime board member of the Sacramento chapter of the Executive Women's Golf Association, now the LPGA Amateur Golf Association. So as you can see, Linda is well connected to the game. However, she was not a home club member or even a frequent visitor to the Haggin Oaks Golf Complex. I'll leave it to Linda to tell you how she ended up in this role. Welcome, Linda. We're delighted to have you here today to tell us about this phenomenal program, a program that could easily be adapted in any golf environment that seeks to connect more women to the game. So Linda, could you give us a little overview, first of all, about the Mentor League program and what it does?
Thanks, Caroline. Yes, and hi, everybody from Sacramento, where it's very windy today. This program kind of began out of a need, but more as a result of some studying and some researching that the management team at Haggin Oaks started in 1915, I think, when Mike Woods, who was the director of golf there, decided to start a women's ad hoc committee trying to find out how they could improve their service to women golfers in the area. As a result of that, and I'll go into that a little more, but as a result of that, we started a program called the Mentor League, where we had volunteer women golfers who worked with the new golfers, those who were taking lessons or in clinics or classes, and helping them transition to the golf course. We started in 2017 by using the databases from our tee times and from our merchandise sales in the Super Shop. And we sent a message out to all of the women who were in this database and told them that we were starting this Wednesday morning 9-hole league. And it was for women golfers who, it didn't matter what their skill level was. There was no qualification. They didn't even have to have golf clubs for that matter. And it was extremely popular. It filled up very quickly. And a lot of feedback we were getting is that there were younger gals who wanted to be involved in a program like this, but they had to work. So could we do something in the afternoons, the late afternoons or evenings? So in 2018, we started the Thursday afternoon league. So basically, it grew so fast that the 8 mentors that I had originally scheduled to come on board were just overwhelmed by the number of new golfers in the program. So I tried to structure the program so that there were no more than 2 new golfers with a mentor. 1, it created very slow play. 2, it was very hard for the mentors to try to focus on 3 new golfers and all of their issues. And it diluted the experience for the golfers themselves. So it was a matter of how are we going to get more people here in the mentor capacity to accommodate all of these golfers. And it was through word of mouth and reaching out to friends of friends of friends. And I'm now, what, three years later, I have 21 mentors and we have over 500 women in the program. Did you ask something? Caroline? Oh,
Linda, for somebody that's interested in starting a program, like you're already telling us about your success, but you had to start somewhere. So for somebody that's interested in starting a program such as yours, you talked a little bit there about the research you did. What were some of the first steps that someone would take in this process? And what were some of the steps that you took?
okay, well, I will go back to this ad hoc committee that Mike Woods created at Hagan Oaks in 2015. Because as you said in your introduction to me, I really had no connection with Hagan Oaks at all. And I did not know Mike. I was on the board of the First Tee of Greater Sacramento, and I had met Ken Morton Sr., who was the one of the members of the Morton Golf organization that manages the city golf courses here in Sacramento. Mike decided that he was going to start this women's focus group, and he invited a lot of the home club women captains. At the time, we had 5 women's home clubs at Hagan Oaks, so you can see it's a large facility. A lot of the home clubs were represented with members in this committee. Vicki, who is in on this call, was one of our first members in the committee, as were you, Caroline. So you became familiar with this process of what Mike was trying to accomplish, was to, the bottom line is to make the venue more women friendly and to try to take care of the women golfers that we had there, i.e. our home club members, and to try to build those home clubs. And it became a kind of a griping session at first, because there were things that needed to be done around the course, and these women made Mike very aware of that, and he took a lot of proactive action there. The modernization of the restrooms on the course was a huge thing for the women golfers, by adding coded locks to the bathrooms out on the course, improving the pace of play, the condition of the women's lounge and restroom, and a better cleaning system on the course. But the biggest problem that we were dealing with was the dwindling number of the home club members. So if you have 5 women's home clubs, but they're minimal, they have 4 or 5, maybe 4 or 5 groups playing each week, it became a real concern. And the home club women's didn't know how to do it because they were used to having 150 members in their home clubs. These clubs go back in golf history to the fact where, they had a waiting list of 30 to 40 women at one point, when the golf was extremely popular and a lot of women were not working. And now everything has changed. So we're trying to figure out how are we going to help them grow these home clubs. And one thing became very obvious, and that was they did not want new golfers.
Oh.
So Caroline?
How did you, who did you get to buy into the planning process? So, I know if you're talking about mentoring, does that concern the golf professionals at the facility? Or are they concerned for, their business? Can you tell a little bit how you got the buy-in from everybody there?
Well, after sitting through these meetings for about a year, it became very obvious to me that Mike had the right idea about how to grow the home, or about the fact that he needed to solve some problems to enable the home clubs to grow. He just didn't have the time to do it. And I knew that. And as an outsider, after sitting in these meetings for a year, maybe a year and a half, I had a vague concept of what could be done to bring new women into the game. But I wasn't sure that it would be a short-term process. It was going to be a long-term process, because it takes a while to learn how to play the game of golf well enough to be able to get an index, to be able to have a handicap, to be able to play 18 holes and keep up with the home club members. So I just decided that I would take my concept, what I was thinking about doing, and pitch it to the management team, which I did, and I convinced them to hire me so that we could get the ball rolling and, you know, be able to have one purpose focused on, or one person focused on this process, and then, you know, seek the help of the management team and the mentors that we would be bringing on board to make it a reality. So that's kind of the how it started, why it started. It was quite overwhelming, to be honest with you, because the response was so huge. And I had 8 mentors that I was afraid were going to walk on me if we didn't get some kind of solutions in place. So it was, you know, a process of creating the opportunities for the women to play and getting more mentors available to help them to see a success.
It sounds like obviously the mentors are the individuals that are key to your success in this program.
Very
So
much so.
could you talk about how you went about recruiting mentors, how you went about training them? You know, well, what's the selection process look like? How do you know you're going to get a good mentor? So could you talk a little bit about that?
Well, you don't always know you're going to get a good mentor. I've been extremely lucky, I think, you know, with the fact that we've been able to bring on, now I have 21 mentors, and I've had one who left, kind of, it just wasn't a good fit. And I had 2 who left because they moved out of the area. And I'm now, with COVID kind of being a little bit in control here, we were able to bring on some new mentors just recently. So that put our number up to 20. And I can say that there's a basic criteria that they have to have the right personality, period. If I get, you know, people in here who are stern or who are, you know, critical or whatever, it's not going to work. You know, these women just want to have fun. And it's all about finding people who have great personalities, great communication skills, obviously a knowledge of golf and the rules, and, you know, just having the ability to play golf themselves. Because I learned from the beginning, you know, when some of the mentors said, wouldn't we be more effective if we just watched and talked to them? And Mike said, absolutely not, because they're going to learn more by watching you than they are by hearing what you're saying. So it has to be somebody who can actually walk the walk. You know, it's one thing to tell somebody what they know is right to do, but it's another thing to be able to demonstrate it. So, you know, we have, these gals are of all different levels of ability as far as golf is concerned. But the bottom line is, the commonality there is that they have great personalities and they're just good people.
And how did you recruit these people? So I think as the women's golf ambassador, you probably take a lot of this on in your role, but so do you handpick these people? How does that work?
Well, I had originally, I think I had 5 or 6 of my friends who are golfers who stepped up and volunteered. And when they saw me panicking, you know, they reached out to friends of theirs. And so it was a lot of recommendations. And I have learned 3 years later, I've learned that the best recommendations come from current mentors. They know exactly what the program is like. They know what needs to be done. They know the kind of personality that works with the program. So I put a lot of credibility in their reference. You know, when I get names from different mentors, I seek these people out. And, you know, basically the first thing we do is play golf. You know, that's the old adage about you learn a lot by spending a couple hours with somebody on a golf course. So I do. I play with every one of them before I even, you know, go into the details about what it is that we do. They have a general idea of what it is that we do, but I don't think many of them realize the numbers that we have and how big these leagues have become, and how available they need to be. You know, I have some who I covet because of their abilities and their skills and their knowledge, and they're just not available as often as I would like that to happen. So I have to depend on, the gals who have more flex schedules. And I even had some gals who volunteered at the start who were still working and full-time jobs. So they would come to the evening league, but it's mostly the diversity that I have in this group of women mentors is pretty fine. I mean, it's a fun group, but it's a group of women who are still learning. They love taking lessons. They love incorporating what they do with what they learn themselves. So that makes it a success.
So Linda, did you put any sort of incentive in place? Like, I'm sure they're not paid staff, but are there incentives for them to participate? Are there little rewards? How does that work?
Yes, thanks for asking that, because if the first thing that I hear from a potential mentor is, tell me about the perks, I don't want them. They're in it for the wrong reasons. A lot of the gals who came on board didn't even realize that there were benefits associated with the volunteer position, but they're pretty significant, and especially in a venue like Hagan Oaks, where we have the best merchandise available to us, right there in the super shop. But they do get a 35% discount on apparel and accessories and gift items. They get 20% off on golf clubs and rangefinders and shoes and balls and things like that, as far as significant discounts on the clinics and classes and lessons that they offer there at the course, which is, and range cards where they can get any size bucket of ball every day of the year. And discounted green fees, throughout the city-owned courses. We manage 4 golf courses here in the Sacramento area, so they get discounted green fees and opportunities to bring friends and family out at a discounted rate as well. So the benefits are pretty significant, but that's not what I think drives the women to come.
So you have one of your mentors here today. So maybe Linda, you would introduce Vicki, and Vicki can talk to us a little bit about from the mentor perspective.
Thanks. Actually, Vicki was, I think, maybe the first mentor that I brought on board. It's been over 3 years now that Vicki's been mentoring out there at the program. 4 years. Thanks, Vicki. I've kind of lost track of time, to be honest with you. But she's wonderful, and she's very available, which is wonderful, that I can depend on her to be there and help me in situations where I get in a bind. But Vicki is been golfing for over 40 years. She's a very good golfer. She loves the competition, team and individual competition. And she is currently the president of the LPGA amateur chapter here in Sacramento. So this is my friend Vicki. She'll tell you all about her experience.
Well, thank you very much, Linda and Caroline, for inviting me to participate. I love golf. So anything associated with golf, I'm always willing to try. And anything associated with getting more women into the game of golf and having them fall in love with it, I'm always game for that. So when Linda contacted me, it was like free golf, okay, yeah, because we golf with the mentees. So it gives us a chance to practice our game too at no cost for 9 holes. So when we first arrive at the course, Linda coordinates introductions for the mentees that we'll be working with that day. So we chat a little bit on the way to the tee box. We chat about, number one, how'd they hear about the leagues? What brought them to Linda's mentoring league, and find that out. We ask them a little bit about, are they currently taking lessons? What are their objectives? Are they in it just for fun, just for social, which there really are a lot of women that just want to come out, be out in a beautiful setting, do a little walking, a little chatting, having little laughs with some other women. I find out how long, if they have been golfing, how long, or what do they want to get out of the mentoring that's going to take place. Many of them will say, well, you know what, I really am you know, I can get off the tee and I can't seem to get to the green, or my putting stroke's really bad. So what we try to do is help them. We kind of watch for maybe some major flaw that is contributing to that. But first off, we are not instructors. We will refer them to the many professionals that Hagan Oaks has to give them that instruction. We could just help them in the sense of, if we see them, the flag's to the right and their feet are aimed left, and you know, we'll kind of say, wait, you know, take a look, where are you aiming? So we'll do that. Then where our focus really lies is we help them, number one, get comfortable. What Linda's information from all those studies that was done, starting with Ken Morton Sr., is they had hundreds of women going through lessons, yet hundreds of women were not transferring over to the golf course. So they kind of got caught on that path. They had no one to golf with. They were really nervous about, what do I do if I'm paired with people that are really good, and they're impatient with me? You know, where do I even pick up a cart? You know, how much time should I give myself before I ever arrive at the course? So we will focus on making them comfortable in that aspect, and making sure that, number one, is they're going to enjoy the day, they're going to have fun, and they're going to want to come back, and they're going to want to work with different mentors too, because we all teach differently. We all have different personalities. We could say the same thing, but it's heard differently. So I just enjoy doing and bringing women into the game of golf.
Thanks so much, Vicki. So in a typical day, are you going to play an entire 9 holes with these new people? Are there shorter options? What would a typical round look like when you show up and you have, how many people do you have in your group? How many would you mentor in a round?
Okay, sure. The perfect situation is you only have 2 new golfers. Depending upon how many of the women have requested mentors, there could be the rare occasion that you would have 3, but Linda would probably put one of the more skilled golfers as that 3rd one who requested a mentor, so that, again, we're not overloaded. So we will walk out to the tee. As we walk into the tee, well, first off, we need to find out what their skill levels are, and how far perhaps they hit their driver or their 7 iron, just to get a feel for, should they be at the junior tee box, or are they capable of playing the forward tees, such as the red tees. The course that we use has 2 9 holes, and they are some of the easiest courses. The ratings, 102, 104. Distances are anywhere, excuse me, from 1,500 yards to 2,200 yards. So it's a perfect conditions for those new golfers, and no water on the courses that we're playing on those 9 holes. So we kind of take a quick assessment of their skill level. We do play the full 9 holes. I don't think we've ever stopped prior to that for any reason. And most often it's, oh, we're done, that's it. It's less than 2 hours, and then they are ready to come back again. Or we have some that then go schedule the other half of the course and play that.
That
I want to
sounds
just say, if I
wonderful.
can say, Vicki brought up a point that I tried not to pair more than 2 golfers with a mentor at the same time, but we have a tracking system that we've developed and incorporated into the mentors. So when they finish a round of golf with their 2 golfers, they send me a brief, few paragraph or 2 paragraph follow-up on the golfers they were with that day, because I personally have not had the chance to play golf with every single member of this group, and I need to know how their day went and how they would rate these gals on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being they've never played before, they may have had lessons or been in a clinic, but they've never played on a course before, and 10 being they really don't need any help, they just like the tips that they're getting. So on my spreadsheet, on my roster, I grade, or I put a number by each of these players. So the next time they ask to be paired, I can pair them with golfers of similar ability and put them with a different mentor. So, you know, if their best experience is when they have been able to play with different golfers and different mentors and continue to learn. Because as Vicki says, we all talk differently, we all teach differently. And the fact that we can help them by just small things, you know, that nobody has ever told them before. I hear that every day. Every day we have golfers. I've been playing for years and nobody's ever told me that, you know, about where to stand, where to leave their carts, you know, how to move through the course. And course management is a huge part of what the mentors do, because I insist on pace of play, you know, and if people fall behind, they need to pick up their balls and move it to the next hole. So Vicki's points are very well taken. And I think that the fact that we have so many different golfers who keep coming back and coming back and coming back. And, you know, Gail is a great example of that. And I think, Vicki, if you want to introduce Gail and have her tell her story, I think that would be fun for everybody to hear.
Linda, can you introduce Gail? I didn't get any information on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sure. So this is Gail Heibarger. I will let her tell her story because I can't remember exactly when she started playing with us, but she has become a fixture with the league and she no longer requires a mentor. So let me have her tell her story.
Okay, so thank you for, it's kind of funny. So I still stay at a little picture up there, huh? Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, like 100 years ago, I did golf a little bit. I worked for a company that had these kind of fun things for golf once a year or something like that. So I actually had clubs. The guys in the office told me how to hit a ball and all that. So I actually had some clubs. And then over the years, you know, I probably played golf once every 5 years, whether I needed to or not. I was a real hacker, 10 to 15 strokes to get through a hole. If, you know, I mean, it's just something I did for work on the company picnic days. And then as I got closer to retirement, then I retired 7 years ago. My husband and I we moved and we had a garage sale and I still had my golf clubs and I literally gave them away. It's like I hadn't played golf in probably 10 or 12 or more years. And I just thought, yeah, ain't gonna happen, whatever. And my husband doesn't really golf and it's like, okay. So 2 years into retirement, golf kept coming into my mind because I know even though I was a hacker, it was kind of fun being outside. And anyway, long story short, I found Hagen Oaks and they had some classes and it was, I forget who the instructor was, but I took one that only had like 4 people. And I said, well, I'd like to take a lesson to see if I can even hit a golf ball. But I have no clubs. And they said, oh, come on, we'll give you clubs and all that. So I did the lesson and I think it was a series of 3. After that, I thought, okay, I can sort of hit a ball, but now what do? It's like, I have no clubs. I'm new to the area. I don't know anybody. Who do I play with? I'm screwed. I'm one of those people that, like Linda talked about, you take a lesson, and then what do? I mean, I was sort of hanging out there. So it was interesting. And about after my last lesson, it was like I say, a series of 3 or 4. I literally got home that day and got an email from Linda Reed. And it was, welcome to Hagen Oaks. We have this mentor program. It was like the email from heaven. and it was, we have mentors, we have, you know, you can play 9 holes, we'll teach you the rules. I mean, it really was just exactly what I wanted. So I called her that day, her phone number was on there. I remember, Linda, you were up in Lake Tahoe, you answered the phone And I said, well, I got this email. I've got no clubs. You know, what do I do? And she said, I would love to have you. And I think she emailed me, and then I gave her my email address. And I said, but I have no clubs. She said, don't worry about it. We'll give you clubs to play with. And so the next week I got the email from Linda to play, and I was tied up with a mentor. And over the last, and I think the program actually had just started, because I started in 2017. So I am finishing up my 3rd full year with this group. And I played probably my first whole year with mentors. And I learned, like Vicki had said, I learned so much from these ladies. And I mean, the flag position, you know, front, middle, back. I'm really, all my drives were into the trees, which was good on a summer day. I was in the shade, but I got really good at doing that sweeping, you know, from underneath the trees with my little 7-iron. I can pop those things underneath branches, and I learned that from mentors. Course etiquette, marking your ball, just they teach you so much about the rules of the game. And a couple other things I really enjoyed was, well, pace of play is beat into my head. So when I play with other people, I am the pace of play queen, and I try to be respectful to people, but you need to move on. And anyway, it's just been a really, really great program for me. So in the last 3 years, I actually started with them. So I had no clubs, I had no card, I like to walk. So I just, Linda's group gave me clubs for, it was probably about a month of playing. And then I bought clubs at Hagen Oaks. I bought a cart, which a mentor helped me. You know, I was asking all the mentors about their push carts and how they go. Never, ever walk back to your cart. That's, you know, pace of play again. So I've just learned so much. And then, so I got the clubs. And then when I started, I was at the white tees, which I don't know if, you know, they're really close. I could probably almost putt from them now. And then I moved back to the red tees. And then within probably a year and probably a little over a year, maybe a year and a half or so, I am now teeing off from the green tees. The clubs I bought at Hagen were a beginner set. They had everything. I mean, I didn't even know what a hybrid was, and the graphite shafts and all that stuff. So the clubs have served me well. But tomorrow I'm having my fitting with Penny. So new clubs are in my golf scope now. So I'm really excited about that. And it's just been a wonderful thing for me. And I think besides the learning, it's social. You meet new friends. I've golfed with other people outside the mentor group. And Linda's group has gotten so big now. I mean, Wednesdays are just like, there used to be what, 15 or 20 of us, maybe 4 groups. Now there's like, I don't know, 20 or 30 groups. One day I counted, there were over 75 people on the list just for Wednesdays. So Friday was better because there were no mentors, and now Fridays are just crazy. So, I mean, the programs, all I can say is that it's just it has been a wonderful experience for me. And then the one time I do meet up groups to play on other days. And the one time I did play, it was a 9-hole group up in Roseville, and it was a co-ed group. And I was still really pretty new. I think I had moved to the red tees, and I will never go back because and Linda knows me better. I should have said something, but I didn't want to create waves, but I should have told them to shut their mouths. Every hit, these guys were trying to fix me. And I was, by the 3rd hole, I was just so, pardon my French, I was really irritated. And it's like with the women, we're all there, like Vicki said, for different reasons. Me, I really like to improve. So I've taken private lessons, I've taken group lessons at Hagen. Ed and Joe are really great. I've taken And I'm taking more private lessons right now, trying to get distance in my drive. So I just have a goal to improve my game. And I just can't say enough how it's just a wonderful program, and it's really helped me out a lot. And I can't wait to get those new clubs.
I'm excited for you. I think that's great. And I think Gail's story is so typical of what we hear, you know, that everybody is moving through this league and their ultimate goal is to be able to play 18 on their own and keep up pace of play and know the rules and be comfortable playing with anybody on any course. That's our goal.
Thanks so much, Gail, for sharing your experience. It sounds awesome. I'm excited for you for your new clubs tomorrow.
Yeah.
Linda, how do you reach the Gails of the world? Like so you're growing this program, but how are you finding these women who, as Vicki mentioned, are kind of stuck in the after lesson before the club kind of stage?
Well, we have, as Vicki said, we have a huge number of teaching professionals and trainers and fitters at Hagan Oaks. I think we have 15 teaching professionals right now, and that does not count our coaches. And a lot of these newer golfers take these clinics or classes from our coaches. And I have a great relationship with these guys. And I convinced them that, you know, if they create a program, my gals will come. So they specifically have created clinics and classes just for my league women. That way the women can get into an environment without, I'm not saying having guys around is a bad idea, but when you're learning, I think it helps to be with other women. And that may sound crazy, but I've witnessed it too many times not to believe it. So these guys have created these wonderful clinics for my golfers, and we fill them. Every time a clinic comes out, it's filled in moments, I think, because I send the flyers out to everyone in an email attachment. But one of the problems, and I may be getting off track here, but I want to address this, Carolyn, because I think you asked it earlier about my relationship with the teaching professionals there at the course. Because when I started this, and when I had women bursting at the seams who wanted to get into classes or clinics or lessons or private lessons or group lessons or whatever, there was kind of a hesitancy, I think, on the part of the professionals, because they thought we were doing their job. And there was a reluctance to get involved with my group because they thought we were taking business away from them, when in fact it was exactly the opposite, you know. So it really took some time on behalf of the management staff with me and with them, where we had one-on-one meetings so I could tell them what my program was, so they could hear it from me and not from somebody else, and to convince them that the more they became involved, the better this was going to be for all of us, you know, because they are now, you know, they have so many of my women golfers in their groups, and they are sending so many to me that it's become a very symbiotic relationship now, where before it was very conflicted and difficult and challenging. So, you know, the coaches come out and they give free clinics for my gals before their 9 holes starts sometimes. And there's just a great relationship right now. And we have a lot of respect from the management team and from the other teaching professionals.
That's terrific. And it just really sounds like Gail's progression, you know, was beneficial for the entire facility. You know, Gail bought the clubs, Gail took the lessons, Gail took the clinics, Gail took the private lessons, and now she's playing golf regularly. And then the golf courses around are benefiting from Gail's progression because she's playing at other facilities too.
Yes.
Linda, did you set benchmarks, or, you know, at the beginning of the program when you established, how do you measure the success? I suppose that's a silly question with the numbers, but can you share some of your statistics with us, maybe?
Yes, because they are pretty impressive. When we started in 2017, we had our Wednesday morning league and we had a Thursday evening league. Now, the Thursday evening league, obviously we have to rely on rely on the daylight hours. So it starts at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and we run out of daylight at 8 o'clock right now. So that runs from April through September only. So we have limited weeks, but just between those two leagues, the first year, we had 1,125 rounds of golf that were played. In 2018, we added the Friday morning league, and the number increased by 51% over the first year. We had 1,700 rounds of golf that were played in 2018. In 2019, the numbers kind of get crazy. We had 2,066 paid rounds of golf. So these numbers do not include the rounds that the mentors play, because they play for free and there's no revenue attached. Last year, which was a crazy year, as we all know, for golf, our increase over the 2019, we had a 66% increase, and we had 3,427 paid rounds of golf between the three leagues.
So these are numbers that would not be happening without the league. So these are just women who are playing within the confines of the league.
Yes, that's true. This does not count outside golf. These are all women who make their tee times through me, who play with the mentors or who don't play with the mentors. And we're very lucky that for the Thursday night league, we have 3 sets of tees, 3 courses that we actually start on. The arcade, more the teaching course, has 2 9s there. So we have women that go off the front of each side. And then we also have the Championship Mackenzie course that at 5 o'clock in the evening is all ours. So we have women who tee off and play the first 9 holes of the Mackenzie course as well. That league started up last week for this year, and I had 77 golfers that night. It was very overwhelming.
Well, and if I could jump in too, one of the things that, from sort of the newbie perspective, I'm at Hagen almost every Wednesday and Friday, unless my schedule is different. But what I try to do as sort of a new golfer is I have joined these meetup groups so I can get to other courses and things. If Linda she could literally have something every day of the week and she could fill them up. And then every meetup group I go to, I always talk about the education at Hagen Oaks. I've sent many, many people to play at Linda's league. Well, how do you join? Well, here's her email. Just send her an email. You'll get on the list. It's really easy, blah, blah. And so I think it's Hagen and then word of mouth. And because of this program, there are women playing all over the Sacramento area that literally either started with Linda or from word of mouth, like ambassadors like me have educated other women on, if you need some help, this is where you need to go.
That's
I
awesome.
appreciate that. And I will say that, with our goal in mind when we started these leagues was to build the home clubs.
Mm-hmm.
I can say we put a handful of our golfers into some of the home clubs there at Hagen Oaks. But I let Vicki tell you what kind of impact it's had on the LPGA amateur chapter.
Absolutely. I'd love to hear from you, Vicki, as the captain of that chapter, what the impact has been on your membership.
Happy to share that. Excuse me. We currently have 228 members, and we've always been open to the idea of bringing on new golfers. You don't have to have a handicap. Our connection with Hagen Oaks provides us that opportunity to get special clinics put together for our new golfers too. So that's a nice transition that they can go and continue to learn how to play golf. With the league, we're finding out there are a lot of women out there who want to get involved in competition, want to get their handicap, want to look forward to the day that they're going to join a team and go back to Virginia and play a tournament against all our other chapters, or just play in fun play here with some friendly competition. So the first year that the mentoring took place, we had 1 referral. It probably wasn't from a complete year. The next year, it was something like 9 referrals. The following year, it was in the 20s. Last year alone, during this COVID year, we had 39 referrals from the league who joined LPGA Amateur. So over the course of those 4 years, we have benefited by getting like 76 new members, which is a huge boost, especially because, you know, as during COVID, we lost a few members too. So at least we were able to backfill with all these new members. And what we're finding out also is the age is less. You know, all our clubs have been around for a while. So we're finding, you know, you're in your 60s, 70s. We have a member in our 80s that still golfs almost every day of the week. But we're getting those ladies that are in their 30s, in their 40s, they're still working. And we need this new blood and energy, and it's really bringing it that way.
And
So-
the fact that this chapter embraces the new golfers and structures so many programs for the new golfers is such a draw, because this is what they want. They want to be with other women and they want to learn, and it's very affordable as well.
And I'll jump in on that, because after I had played, I think I had played like a year and a half or maybe 2 years. I was either at the Red or Green Tees, I don't remember, but I was playing with people with the LPGA amateurs. And again, the women I played with said, you know, Gail, you should join. And I'm go, oh, I'm not good enough. Well, you don't have to be that good. And they have all these programs. And then other people told me, it's like, okay, so 2 years ago I joined. And what I like about it, and I haven't really played any tournaments yet, but they have casual golf days. So again, different courses, you see friendly faces that you know, you meet new people. So I've been a member now, I think, for 2 full years. I have established a handicap, albeit kind of high, but I'm working on that. And so again, and Vicki, it's good to hear from you that word of mouth. You know, I'm really an ambassador for Linda's program. And I have talked about the LPGA casual golf and the different tournaments, but getting that word out to the women I play with, again, it's word of mouth. And I think we can even do better, you know, getting people to join the LPGA amateurs, because some people think, oh, it's all tournaments, you know, and it's not. I mean, and it's the same. You can pick casual golf to really serious golf people. And, you know, I don't think everybody understands what the LPGA actually does. So,
Well, so we're really learning that these mentors translate to real dollars and cents for any facility in the rounds that are played. We're translating these golfers into members at a new club, especially clubs that are open to nurturing that newer golfer. And it sounds like your LPGA Amateur Club is really doing a good job with that. What about other spending at the facility? You know, what would be, you know, I'm sure there are incentives beyond or benefits beyond just the rounds played. I mean, these women are shopping. Gail is buying her second set of clubs there. They're shopping. I expect they're shopping in the superstore and buying clothing. They're probably eating and having a little cocktail after golf or having a coffee. So do you have any data on that as an even bigger incentive for a golf course to embrace this program?
Well, yes, if this isn't an incentive, I don't know what is, because, you know, we have an amazing facility there with over 100 hitting bays. The driving range is lit and open 24 hours a day during the summer hours. Our merchandise is beyond comparable to anything in the area. I think with COVID now, you go to so many of the golf courses and they basically shut their pro shop down. They really don't have any inventory in there to sell to the golfers. So, you know, between our online shopping venue and the merchandise there at the course, it's a big attraction. I mean, people from all over the area come to Hagan Oaks to get things, to get fitted for clubs, to buy clothes. You know, they have a great selection. And so I took the numbers for last year, which was 3,427 paid rounds, and ran it by the management team to get an estimate of what those rounds converted to in the way of food and beverage, green fees, and retail. So for food and beverage, the average per round is $7.12. That's $24,400 just in food and beverage. And a lot of that is our Thursday night league because we shut the grill down Thursday night. So, lots of fun gals there. The green fees equate to $24.85 per round, which is the average between our 9-hole course and our 18-hole course. That converts to over $85,000 in green fees. The retail number is very skewed because of all the sales that we have that are unrelated to the golf course rounds. But as I was told, the number is the number. And most golf courses will average between, I think the number I had was between $4 and $8 per round. $4 to $8 per round in retail. That's what their conversion number is. Hagan Oaks average is $55.70. So if you consider the 3,427 rounds, using that number as an average, it's over $190,000 in revenue in retail.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Those
So
are impressive.
even if the course is small compared to ours, I think that there is a fit, I think, to get women golfers out on the course. And you really need to have support of the management. You need to have the mentors, and you need to have the tee times available. You know, if you have open slots in your tee time and you can fit groups of women in there and have them supported by the management and by the staff at the course, I mean, it's going to increase your revenue. There's no way it won't.
Linda, I know you shared with me kind of a guideline, a manual, if you will, on this program. Is that something that you would be willing to share more broadly? And if so, how might somebody get a hold of that?
Yes, I'm happy to share it. I'll tell you how that came to be. As the program was getting more and more highlights through, my management team, they are always asked to speak at the PGA Merchandise Show. And one year, Mike was asked to talk about the Mentor League. And from that experience, I started getting phone calls and emails from all over the United States asking about the program and how does this work and what do you do in this situation and how can I change things here so that we can take on a initiative like that. And it was kind of overwhelming because I was spending more time telling other people what we do than doing it. So I just decided, Ken Sr. came to me one day and said, we need to create a manual. So you can just put everything in this manual, how it happened, what your process is, what your solutions are, what do you see going forward? And we did, we created this manual. And when I have people call me, like you did, Caroline, when you asked me about talking about this league, I sent you the manual. And I think it created, well, hopefully it answered a lot of the questions that you have. I know it certainly structured this conversation we're having today because you were able to pinpoint the highlights and the transition and all the hoops we had to jump through to make this work. And I think if somebody wants to see the manual, you want to reach out to me, I'm more than happy to send one to you. I think you would find it interesting and probably a lot more complete than this interview today, since I'm kind of scattered, but I'm not a public speaker, but I am a good organizer. So anyway, I'm happy to share it.
Thanks, Linda. So we have just a few minutes left, and I would like to just thank you so much to Linda, Gail, and Vicki for making your presentations and sharing your time today. I think, Linda, we can probably make it available through the Women's Golf Alliance website. If they want to contact you to get a hold of that manual. It looked like
Sure.
somebody also wanted to get a hold of the rating sheet, if I saw that correctly.
Sure.
But Erin's back on, so I'm wondering if we have any last questions. We have 5 minutes left, so I don't want us to go over our time.
Well, definitely the manual and the rating sheet were highly sought after content. We had a few ladies pop into the chat and just couldn't be more excited about how they want to start this in their own area. So really great program, Linda.
Thank you. I did want to, if you're interested in checking out our website, we just launched a new link for the newbie golfers. If you go to hagenoaks.com, right on the website, when it comes up, you'll see a real cute logo that has newbies on it. Are you a newbie to golf? And if you click on that link, it shows all of the programs that we have that are available to the new golfer so that they can research it before they even come out to the course. Because we see so many people who come out, and we've got a big venue. It's a large place, and they're just kind of overwhelmed. So it's kind of an answer to, without being intimidated, you can just sit on your computer and actually look at the website and see what's there.
So we did have one question pop in. Jane Quering was wondering if any of this is applicable to private clubs since there's so much resistance to inclusiveness. I'm assuming Hagen Oaks is a private club.
Oh no, very public.
Okay, very
It's a
public. Okay.
municipal course, yes, with 36 holes. And then we have our sister courses, Bing Maloney, 18 holes, and an executive 9 course there. And actually one of my initial mentors has taken on my job at that venue. So she has her own league out there, and which is totally separate from mine, and has quite a booming business out there as well. One thing, I just forgot what I was going to say. Talking about private courses. After Mike made that presentation at the PGA merchandise course, I got a call from the captain of the women's club at the Olympic Club, which is like premier private golf in Northern California, in the United States for that matter. And she has just a ton of wives of golfers who were members, but who didn't golf. And she wanted to know how she could get something like this started. So she and I had some interesting conversations, and she just kind of tweaked what we do to make it work there. And I think that's an opportunity that everybody has. You don't have to have a venue like we have at Hagen Oaks to make this work. You just need to have the support, you need the tee times, and you need the mentors.
All right. Any other questions from any of our attendees or any of the panelists? Any last minute thoughts you'd like to drop in for us?
I think just to say, we all want to grow the game for women, and we all want to support women in golf. So I think everything that we can do to make that happen is good stuff. And Linda, this is just an awesome program.
Thanks.
And I look forward to playing with the league one of these Thursdays.
I look forward to seeing you. And really, anybody who's in the area, who is planning a trip maybe to Northern California, if you want to come and participate or just talk to the mentors, walk the course, play 9 holes with us, you're more than welcome.
Thanks so much.
All right, ladies. Well, special thank you to all of our guest speakers today. Such a great program. I'm so excited to try and start something here in Florida like that. So, and thank you to all of the attendees. This is our final session for the WARM conference this year. So thank you all. Please visit the Women's Golf Alliance website. You can find all of the recordings from this year's conference are loaded onto the website. This one will be up shortly. So again, thank you all for attending. It's been a crazy year trying to do this virtually, but we did it.
Yay.
So again, if you can visit the Women's Golf Alliance to get links and downloaded recordings from each session of this year's conference, and then updates for next year's conference will be available at that same site. So thank you everyone for attending, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erin.